Well, pixel art is the way of making art pixel by pixel, literally. So squares, little square by little square, from scratch. So we are not using any kind of filter or processing more complex images and turning into pixels. Pixel art is recreating an image more or less realistic but pixel by pixel.
What you're showing here, this is all pixel art.
Yes, yes. You
can so if you go into the detail,
you can see that it can be, like we were saying, a very lo-fi or have more detail. If we are, we can see, for instance, this is way more lo-fi, right? We can see that this is just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pixels width, and you have like a face with 2 eyes. So this is very lo-fi for a generic shot, but eventually you can go to richer detail.
A lot of people who will see pixel art will say, you know, this is very basic. It reminds me of these old games I used to play on my Atari.
Yeah, well, actually, I was born in 1982, and it was the first time that the term pixel art literally was used and like is conceived. And yeah, definitely it takes back us to previous times, and the evolution of video games is very related to the evolution of technology, and pixel art was the only way to make games back then. And of course, eventually technology evolved, and there's appear different ways to create graphics. And the retro gaming or retro style, in terms of digitally speaking, is using pixel arts, and automatically takes us back to that time. However, I believe that pixel art has matured as an option. As an art style itself, and now there's no longer attachment to the past. Of course, if you are old enough and you have grown up playing Atari or Spectrum or Super Nintendo or Nintendo, the 8, 16 bits, Golden Age, etc., you naturally feel more attracted to it. But there's a lot of younger audiences that like pixel art, and just because it's another art style, if it's like you are doing like water paint or any other style. So sure. I believe that right now the king is the content. We live in a society full of noise and full of stuff, and we are just focusing on the content, and people tend to blur the frontier between what's not pixel art or what's 3D and which is good quality or bad quality. We just focus on the content. If it's interesting enough, you can like the piece.
You are a designer and you develop games. Is there a market for this sort of games, the older style games?
Definitely. We have been working with pixel art since the very beginning, and we haven't changed, and we receive requests from other companies, from advertising agencies that need that specific art style for something. Again, because sometimes you need this retro vibe to the piece that you're working on, and sometimes just because the pure aesthetics of it, and that's also because pixel art can be very, very simple, and you can literally draw on a face with 4 pixels, and with very, very little amount of information and colors. That's enough information for the audience to imagine and fill the gaps and complete the meaning. But on the other hand, pixel art can be super detailed and super complex, and you can do large images with lots of detail, and it actually takes much more effort than doing maybe a 3D style image. Sure. So it covers so much range that it's, like I was saying, like a very mature art style. And I personally, I don't work with pixel art because it gives me back to my memories and my childhood. I use pixel art because it's the style I'm comfortable with, and I can express whatever I need to with pixel art.
Okay.